Alrighty guys, so today we're going to be tying a bluegill. I'm going to be using a SA 282 saltwater hook. Yes, it is a saltwater hook. It is heavier and it's going to keel the fly just right. I'm using some nano silk from Semperfli and 50 denier. I'm going to bring that thread to between the hook point and the hook barb, and then I'm going to get me some white marabou. Since I could only select somewhat thin marabou, I'm going to take 2 marabous and I'm going to wet them. I have a sponge here that it's a little method that Kelly Gallup uses, and I'm going to measure this marabou to be 3 hook shanks lengths in length, and I'm going to put that right on top. I'm going to make sure that it's in the center of the hook, tie it down, and cut off the access. By the way, if you guys haven't checked out the Reno Med scissors, I highly recommend them. They're super duper nice. And then I'm just going to proceed and lock that marabou down with a few more thread wraps. And then I'm going to come in with some chocolate, plain chocolate filler. This is the orange. And I'm just going to lock that in on my near side. And then I'm going to wrap about 8 to 12 turns of this on here. I want to bring it to the middle of the shank here. So as I'm wrapping it, I'm sweeping the fibers back, and what this material is going to allow the fly to have is like that little orange that bluegill has within the body. So normally I would go over it, but this time I'm just going to lock it in right in front and then work over the wraps I already put down, and that's what I'm doing right here. Once that's done, I'm going to come in with marabou that is just slightly longer than the white. It's very, very slightly longer than white. And I also have 2 feathers here just to make it really thick and bulky and make it look like a bluegill. I'm going to wrap that in, and I'm not too worried about the wraps here because the next material is going to cover it up. And if you can see, it's just slightly longer than that white. What I'm going to come in now is with a medium olive Bruiser dubbing, and what I'm doing here is I'm just kind of pulling the ends in and getting it right into the middle there, and just restacking it right to the middle. That eliminates you having too many loose pieces all over. I'm going to tie this in with the majority towards the front, so I would say about 90-10, and I'm going to splay that out so that way it's covering about half of the hook shank, and when you pull it back it's just going to look really nice. And then I'm going to come in with some white Bruiser dubbing, and I'm going to restack it again just to make sure that it looks nice. And just like I said, you don't want to lose too many fibers when you do brush this fly out, so just take your time, restack it, make it look pretty. And I'm going to place that in 90-10 as well. I'm going to put it in here, tie it in. 3-4 wraps should hold it pretty good. Just make sure it's splayed out just as much as the green one is. That way you get a nice even body coating. And then I'm going to pull it back, and I am going to wrap my thread right on top of it, but I just noticed that my bottom piece is a little bit shorter, but I could still get it right over there and get a nice bullet tie out of it. I want to create that bullet tie right there because that's going to allow me to get my eyes on there. So I'm just going to put a couple of wraps over the dubbing and then whip finish it. Do a 3 turn whip finish, or a 4 turn and then a 3 turn after that. Snip it off and then come in with some living eyes. These are earth in 7mm. I'm going to brush out all that dubbing to get all those loose ends out of there, especially the white. You want to brush it out really, really good. So now I'm going to come in and place those eyes with no glue on top. Just going to get them lined up, put it on the far side. It's just a easier way to do it on the far side and then put it on the near side, just to make sure it's even. Usually if I start on my side and then do the far side, usually I don't get the eyes even. So I'm just going to press them on there, squeeze them, get that little adhesive to work a little bit. And now there's a trick, right? So you could use your tweezers to hold those eyes in place. Just don't squeeze too hard so they don't roll, and come in with some UV flow and fill that gap in. Hit it with the UV light. This is going to lock in the eyes and as well as your thread wraps. And do the same thing on the bottom. Just come in, fill it in, let that seep in, and hit it with the UV light. This really just holds everything together. After this, you don't need the tweezers, but just make sure all those fibers are away from where you're going to put your thick UV. So now I'm going to come in with Loon Thick, but I found a straggler there, so I cut that little straggler out of there. And UV Thick just fills in the gap between the eyes and gives it a nice, like, full head once you put this on here. Just coat it nicely, get it on the eyes as well, so that way those eyes stick in there. Keep it in rotation and bring that light on top of it and get it to go. You know, about 10-15 seconds for it to dry, depending what UV resin you're using. Keep it spinning so that way you get a nice amount of even light on it, and then coming back with the flow to get rid of some of the tackiness. Flow is pretty slick, so you got to definitely keep it spinning and hit it with the light. And now your fly's almost done. I'm going to come in with some Copia markers, Copic markers, I think. I'm going to do with the blue, and I'm going to get like a little blue highlight going on that fly around the thorax of it, or the throat, should I say. Thorax, we're not doing dry flies here, but the little blue throat, and make sure you get that marker nice in there because it is white. Just make sure it doesn't bleed. And then I'm going to come in with a orange marker, and I'm going to create that gill plate. Once I have that gill plate created on that side, I'm going to move it over to the other side. Make sure you pull that dubbing back so that way it does get a nice even spread. And what I'm going to do here, I'm going to come in with a black marker and just put a dot. If you look at a bluegill, they got like a prominent dot on the side right behind the gill plate, so that's what I'm doing here. And then I'm going to pull the top dubbing up, and I'm going to put some bars in here to make it look like it's barred. I'm going to start on my side first and take it all the way to the center there, and then I'm going to do the side that's near you guys and just get the markings in there nice and even. Make sure you get the top as well, and once you get these marks in there, you got yourself a nice little bluegill. If you guys like this video and you do fish this fly, definitely give me a like and a follow. And if you have any suggestions for what you want to see next, let me know. Leave it in the comments. Hope you guys like this video, and good luck fishing this.